haven't stripped away from him. Awesome, thank you. All right, not a ton on the agenda, and let's do quick introductions here, just in case people are watching this on the video, but I see at least one person. I don't know if I've met you or not, but let's go around. I'm Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network. I'm also the 2023 president for koha-US, and we'll go to Heather.
I'm Heather Hernandez, Technical Services Librarian at San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park. Over to you, Fred.
I'm Fred King. I'm a medical librarian at, and I have to say the full name, MedStar Washington Hospital Center in DC. I'm the cataloging department, systems department, tech services department, and was hired to do reference too. And I do a lot of that. I guess for a small library. Jason.
I'm Jason Robb. I'm the C-Confine coordinator at the Southeast Kansas Library System. Pass it to Bob.
Bob Benhoff. I'm the AspenCAD Services Manager for the Colorado Library Consortium, and I'm this year's Vice President of koha-US. Rhonda.
My name's Rhonda Kuiper. I am the Technical Services and Collection Development Manager for Round Rock Public Library in Round Rock, Texas. We'll send it off to Barbara. She's next.
Hi, I'm Barbara Johnson. I'm the Technical Services Manager at Bedford Public Library, Texas, about, 200 miles away from Rhonda down the highway.
John.
I'm John Sterbenz. I'm the Executive Director of the Detroit Area Library Network, and I serve as koha-US's Financial Manager. I'll pass it off to Georgette.
I'm Georgette Rogers. Oh, let me put my camera on here. Here I am. I'm Georgette Rogers, Circulation Supervisor at the Liberty Lake Library, and I am the koha Treasurer.
Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Marlette. I'm a librarian at the Corona Public Library, and I'm the koha-US Secretary.
And Kristen.
Hello, I'm Kristen Ortelli. I'm the Library Systems Manager at the Santa Fe Public Library in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Awesome. All right. So first on the agenda is the announcements. Anybody have any announcements they'd like to share with the group? All right, exciting things happening out there. I'm sure we'll get into some great discussion here in just a minute here. So we're going to start off with our new business. I've only got 4 items on the agenda. We're going to start off with the conference update. We have put together, or Bob and team have put together the schedule for the conference. I have posted the preliminary rough draft of the schedule on the website on the conference tab, so please check that out. Bob did send out announcements yesterday. Did you get them out to everybody?
Yeah, I got them out on Monday to everybody. I've heard back from most people, and thus far there's only one ask for a schedule change. So we've got a lot of most people have confirmed or soon to confirm. So we're looking good. I think that draft schedule might change a teensy bit, but it's largely going to be what we're going with.
By the way, I'm confirming.
Okay. Still waiting on Jason.
Oh,
I can't officially confirm. George is out until like 2 weeks from now. So I think fine with us because I think George and Michael and I are all planning to be there in person. So we'll be flexible.
Okay, so I will switch. We have the switch will be made shortly. I will let you know. The one group that needed to switch was I was going to switch them with Jason and Michael and George, and sounds like we've got the ability to do that. So so far that's the only change.
Yeah, I'm fairly flexible, and I put in a polite yet determined request that MedStar fund me to get there. Haven't heard yet. Is there a
Well,
campground nearby?
What was that?
Is there a campground nearby?
Good question. Probably camp out on the beach.
Or I can sleep in the back of my van.
Yeah, so schedules online. The plan is to get registration for the conference out. I'm hoping this week. I need to meet with John, and we'll talk more about this at our meeting following the general meeting here, because we have our conference committee meeting next. But we have to get the payment link in place. I've worked on our registration form, and we'll iron those details out ASAP so we can get that registration online so people can start committing to coming to the conference. So yay, exciting things. And then we've got all the fun little details that we have to address after that. So that's where we are with the conference right now. So we are moving forward, and we are we are about 2 months away. So exciting. All right, any questions about the conference before we move on? All right, Heather, I see you gave up the background. You were disappearing for a little bit. All right, cool. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, my computer had other demands.
All right, Koha upgrade preparation. I see a lot of people are in process of moving over to 2211. We are getting ready to do that. We're going to be moving over to 2211 this month, which is exciting. George and I actually, I failed to look up the schedule on this, but we have a upcoming video on customizing the staff interface to make it suit your color palette needs. Previously, the staff interface was kind of a blue toned interface, and they've updated to green, and ever since, and with the new layout, I've heard a lot about aesthetics with the staff interface and people wanting to tweak things. And so we have a video out. George did a lot of work on CSS to research all the pieces that needed to be changed in order to change the colors easily, and he added some variables at the beginning of that, so it makes it really easy to change. So that's a lot of great work done on his part, so it makes it easy for us. So that'll be fun. I applied it to our demo site, and let me pull that up real quick here. Just a second here. So I applied that theming to our demo site, There's only one little piece of jQuery to change the logo, and so I threw that in there and did all the colorizing. I didn't do the extensive work that George did for his test site, but I think that turned out pretty good here. So
I like it.
keep an eye out for the video, and we'll share links to that. In my testing and setting this up, there were a few other pieces that I found needed to be tweaked and added. And so George is maintaining a site where he has his notes on this, and that's where the CSS changes he made lives. So I'll let him update that as needed. My updates were just kind of thrown in hacks, but I let him know what things that I found. There were just a couple of anomalies, like if you searched for a patron, you went to a patron page, then you went to back to the page. This button was still green. The last patron button was still green. So I notified him about that. And when you made updates to the jQuery or CSS, the black message that comes up with the white text, that came out all black, depending on your main text color. So those are a couple of things that needed to be addressed in his notes. So he'll get that. Hopefully he'll get that updated before the video goes out. We'll see. But otherwise, really, really nice customization for this.
Can we have these colors, Christopher? I really like these.
I actually have I actually put that. I've been playing with our test server.
I do, though. Those really stand out better than that green.
So I did something that kind of goes with our colors. So
that's good. Yeah, that's good too.
So
I like it.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that. I think that's really nice. I think that George or somebody needs to do a follow-up with the OPAC. It would be really nice to have the same flexibility with the OPAC as well. But right now the focus was on the staff side. Let's see here. Michael says, I borrowed from Jason and George and made some changes of my own. It helps a great deal with visibility in the new interface. Some additions I made were making the search bar text bold, the autocomplete patron a larger size, and increasing contrast on the search facet, sidebar, and patron button toolbar. Yeah, I know that the interface changes were really extensive this time around, and a lot of work was done on that. This is, I feel like, when things like this happen, it's always good to jump on those bugs and give your input. I think the overall package out of the box looks great, but for it to, for the colors to be I guess of concern in the size of text and things like that, and there were a few other things that were of issue. Those are things that, if you're playing around with the tests when they're developing it, you can speak up early enough to hopefully get something like that addressed. Otherwise, we're going back and letting them know after the fact. And but I think overall it turned out really nice. I was happy with the end product. My chief beef with the new theme was the home button is a lot smaller. And so I have to hone in on that. So that's the thing that you'll hear about from me the most is the home button's too small. But otherwise, I like it. Anybody have, let's see here, we've got some more things here. Oh, it's all going by so fast. Authorities always getting the shaft. I'm sure authorities will get some attention, much needed attention. I was surprised that the attention that the cataloging got with moving the tools over. So Fred says, question the authority.
We have a very outspoken cataloging group.
Always interrogate authorities. Yes. And Bob posted, here's a related bug that would help avoid lots of jQuery, especially for consortia with different branding. So he has posted bug 25295, allow customization of staff interface based on login location. Heather says, I found with my older eyes, the size ratio of the search bar toolbar to the buttons, records, etc. is a little too much. It would be great to have a way to increase just the size of the fonts in the search bar toolbar, leaving the buttons, records, etc. the same size.
And my eyes are older than hers, and I agree wholeheartedly. But my only complaint, and I think I voiced it the previous meeting, and yesterday at the sysadmin meeting, is some things just don't go as smoothly. Not just adding things to the catalog. I need to write down things as I go along, but I'm searching, it just goes to the advanced search. So I can't, the old one had, I think, check out, check in, search. You have to go up to the top and click on the advanced search. At least that's what I found so far.
Yeah, I heard a few workflows have changed a little bit.
Yes.
I will mention, I did see in Slack, I didn't note the bug number, but I did see talk in Slack about a bug with the 2211 in that the patron batch modification is missing all the checkboxes for clearing fields. So be aware of that. It was a bug that was just opened recently.
Yeah, that happened to us.
Yeah, I saw it on the Bywater somewhere.
I got it in the
Oh,
chat.
so 34181, that was a bug that was just recently opened up. So chime in on that so that can move along fast. It was marked as an enhancement. I changed it as a bug because it is not an enhancement. It is definitely a bug. So anybody have any stories to tell about their 2211 upgrade if they've upgraded so far?
Nothing exciting, which is probably good. I upgraded without any problem. I am having problems with Elasticsearch, and I solved it twice. I'm just not sure how I did it. And since that's one of the things I'm talking about at the conference, I think I need to learn it. Has anyone tried installing Elasticsearch when you're setting up an instance as opposed to it's already set up and you have a lot of records in there? I tried something with no bibs or items, and I got 2 error messages. So I put in a few bibs and items, and it got down to 1, but it was the same error message.
I can't say that I play with instances a lot, so.
We love the upgrade. Absolutely love it. The ability to create a custom facet and then put that at the top of your search facets in staff and or OPAC looks really cool. There's a lot of things that we love. The new cataloging menu is great. But I put some bugs up in the chat about the authorities searching fast, what index you're searching in authorities, if you've actually looked at a record, is a little opaque. So any cataloger should really take a look at that. And also at the last cataloging special interest group, a lot of us who are upgraded are experiencing some system slowness. So I would encourage anybody who's been upgraded and experiencing any slowness to go review the recording of the cataloging special interest group, and I put the link in the chat.
I noticed that Jason mentioned something about broken OPAC cover images, but I'm noticing something even in 2205 when they revamped the cover images. We're seeing some slowness on the loading of covers, especially if you. We have local images, we have synthetics, but we also have Amazon to fill in the blanks on some of the things that synthetics doesn't provide. But we're noticing slowness on those images loading, and I think that has to do with the new display of those cover images, because they put it in kind of a carousel thing rather than just throwing them all on the same screen. So I don't know if it's because of the way it's being presented that it's more evident that it's slow, or if it's, if it's always been that way, or if it's just because of this new mechanism. But I am seeing issues with that, but it sounds like it's completely broken on the OPAC. I think
So
synthetics are not loading at all.
for me, we're not using synthetics, we're just using COSI. And
Okay.
I found that if I turn on COSI, but I have the individual system preferences turned off, it's like those are overriding it. So I don't ever get a cover image in the detail screen. But if I turn everything on, then I get 4 cover images in the search results, and I get the cover image working right in the bib detail. So, I mean, it looks cool when you have a shark book with 4 cover images, but I think that bug that I linked resolves my issue, which is different than your issue. There are quite a few bugs I see surrounding cover images in various places, and I think that when they changed to the little carousel chocolate thing, it's broken some things unexpectedly on cover images for sure. I just put in, we've been doing extensive testing on our test server this time around because of the change. So I've been coming across some different stuff. One thing that we ran into is the overdues with fines report, which is one of the canned reports that you can click from the circulation homepage. If there's data on that report, we get a 500 error, and there's a bug that's been patched and fixed. So it's probably not going to be a problem when we actually have grade next week, I hope. But at the moment it is. And then the items tab showing lots of borrowers. That's another thing that's been patched, but it's showing up on our test server where it's like showing every borrower that's ever borrowed the item instead of just the previous 3. And then I filed a bug about curbside pickup times. It's only following the 24-hour format, and I feel like if we turn that on for patients, that's going to be confusing. So I suggested that should follow the system preference that lets you switch between 12 and 24, so that if your system is already doing 12-hour format, then that too should be doing 12-hour format. So I am impressed with the curbside pickup module. I think we're going to test it out a little bit at certain locations. But it's pretty beefy for what it does. So if you haven't played with that, I would definitely encourage it. I'm really impressed that they've taken the time to consider consortia, because it is like a bi-branch setup where each branch can have their own open days and things like that.
That's a built-in feature now, right? In that version. Yes.
Yeah, so it used to be a plugin and they've baked it in this new version of Koha.
Nice. Let's see here.
So we had I would say 2 bugs that really bothered us. One of them is actually bug 33112. I'll put that in the chat here a minute. And that's about if you're searching on somebody that has 2 surnames, even, you know, Van Allen or, you know, something like that, where there's a space between the 2. If you search under, let's see, how did that go? If you did a search in the patron, let's see, if you did search and checkout, it worked, but if you did a patron search, it didn't work. So that sort of slowed down our front desk people quite a bit. There's a fix for it, but it hasn't, I don't think it's been backported yet. We haven't seen it on our system, but that was a problem. And then we are on Aspen, and the communication between Koha and Aspen wasn't set up right. So we can't use the canceled holds report stuff. You know, so we can't turn that on yet because it doesn't work properly. There's a fix for that as well. And we're trying to encourage them to backport it to our current release, but we haven't seen that yet either. So those are the 2 main ones that were kind of like bummer for us.
Thank you for sharing. Rhonda, you look like you're part of the witness protection program.
I have a lamp. I have shut all the, you know, stuff. I'm just sitting here, you know, it's like, can you see me now? Nice new
I've had a
office,
lot of
but,
trouble with
the
Zoom.
lighting is terrible.
Yeah, lighting in Zoom is tricky.
I've been moving my lamp around to see if I can get some more light.
Any other 2211 stories or concerns?
I put a bug in the chat 34097, and this is when you're in the item record and you want to click on there's 3 little ellipses dots next to the date catalog field, and if you want to click that and add if you click those, it'll give you today's date, and it's repositioning the screen up to the top of the screen so you lose your position on the screen. And that has been I think they have fixed that one, but in the meantime Lucas gave me some jQuery I'll put in to prevent that from doing it, because it was it just really interrupts your workflow. You're going along, you click it, you're back up to the screen, you have to scroll down, and so it was frustrating. So if anybody needs that in the meantime.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Upgrades are always fun. I do have to say, you know, it's nice being part of an open source community, though, because we get to see a lot of this stuff beforehand. It's nice having some people out there with test servers so we can report on a lot of these things. we have our early adopters. So thank you to everyone that has contributed by reporting these bugs. It makes the turnaround on fixing these things a lot better than it does, you know, with some of these commercial products that, oh, well, that's a bug. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait 6 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years before that comes out and gets fixed or addressed. So I'm really happy with Koha in that aspect. Any other update comments?
I would just say that as far as the community goes, it's so helpful to send out a email to the koha-US listserv if you've got a question about something you're trying to mess with, because most likely somebody else has already messed with it and already solved it. And so it's really helpful to have that extra layer of community there.
Yeah. All right. Next thing on my agenda, and if you have any more upgrade comments, we can, you know, in the general discussions, you can bring those up. But let's get to the last thing on the new business. September 2023 general meeting. We will be meeting next month, the regular time for our general meeting. So we will be meeting in August on the, looking at my calendar, the 9th. But in September, we will not be having a general meeting on the 13th because we will be doing our general meeting at the conference. So, and I think that's on day 3. So that's probably the 22nd, if I remember correctly. So be aware of that change for September. So August, next month, we're on our usual time, but September we are not. So please don't show up and wonder where the heck everybody is. All right, we will, was going to bring up something and it completely evaporated. I'll bring it up later. But I'll go ahead and open up the floor for any discussions on anything that you'd like to talk about Koha wise. Other bugs, upgrade or not, feel free to open up a conversation about it.
I guess this is more of an announcement. We didn't talk about KohaCon 2024. Get your passports ready. It's in Canada. We can all go meet up in Montreal, right? Yeah.
Here we go. Yes. You still have to have a passport. I don't even have a passport. That's one thing I'd have to get in order.
Passport if you're flying, passport card if you're driving. And the Washington Post had article this morning about how the passport office is so backed up that you have to figure out ways around it. So
Yes,
you should
Although
probably
start now.
Yeah, we got ours. My mom just got one and it took about 8 weeks.
That's too much commitment for me.
Yeah, mine's expired, so
I'm good. I'll be there. I'm good. I just renewed mine.
actually I think you just need a passport to get back into the States. I'm not sure if you absolutely have to have one to get into Canada.
I mean, I could
think you
get
have to have
trapped
it
in
both.
Canada.
Actually, if you go around down to Mexico and come back up through the border, it's easy. You know, you don't need a passport or anything.
What are do you know what the dates are for that, Jason?
No, I put the
okay.
link in the chat. It looks like they're looking at September, which is going to affect our conference too. So that's something to keep in mind. But they don't even have a location determined yet.
Okay.
You have a competing conference near the border.
Oh yeah, we could there's koala libraries in Vermont, right? Is that close? Could we like throw things at each other from across the
Or we could have it the next week and just have a mega conference.
You know, I was noticing as I was posting the schedule, even though the days are not the same, the dates were exactly the same as last year's dates for our conference. So it was the 20th through the 23rd, which is really funny. I don't know that we've ever done that before. We just shifted a day. Day of the week wise. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Got a whole 22 minutes to burn. Barbara posted a bug.
This one is 33821. If you use the self-registration form in the OPAC, and if you are collecting birth date, that has been changed to use the flat picker, which is a different kind of calendar. And we felt it was awkward for our patrons because you basically have to, I mean, this is used by staff, like on the staff side, but for the public, they have to know to put in the year first and then go and find their month and their date. And it just seemed awkward. And we had ours set up previously to allow direct input of the date. And we showed them, you know, it was month, day, year, and the format. And with the new flat picker, you could not manually input data into that field. So this one is to allow direct input back into that field. So depending on whether you use that or not, you might look out for it, and it's been pushed.
That's an accessibility issue, not being able to manually put stuff in there. Well, that's why. Was there an issue with the old date?
I think what it was the thought of a consistency of, because there's one of the bugs was kind of like we should use flat picker everywhere. So I think it was a standardization issue and the thought that consistency would be good. But I think while that works for staff using it in dates, I think the average person that comes up to enter dates, you know, doesn't, for a birth date, that doesn't work well. I think if you're making a plane reservation, that probably works fine. If you're scheduling an event 2 months out, you want a concert ticket, that probably works fine. But when you're trying to input a date where you were born in 1935, that is less intuitive to people. So that was our issue. And what it was doing is when I finally made it so it was, I could manually enter data. But even though the form would submit, the data would come in as all zeros into the database, and then you couldn't open the record because it was being manually submitted as month, day, year, but it's coming into the database as year, month, day, or whatever, you know, so the formats were not, you know, consistent or couldn't talk to each other. And so it was coming in as all zeros, and then you couldn't even open the record. And we've got something temporarily working right now. I can't remember what we did, but we've got it working with a temp fix at the moment.
Yeah, I ran into the same problem when I was using the report builder to try to design a report that Andrew did in about 30 seconds yesterday. And in some of the reports, you can enter a date. And I don't remember which one it was, but if you do month, day, year, it translates to year, day, not month, day, but it uses the numbers that you put in. So I think 2013 became 2039, or it was not the year I put in.
Yeah, I'm just mystified why they changed the date picker at all. I mean, I liked the last date picker. Maybe it was just not being supported any longer. I don't know, but yeah, the flat picker has been kind of a mild annoyance to me. I don't work with it a lot, but when I do, I get annoyed.
I put some more stuff in the chat. So this is some stuff that we came across, features and things that weren't talked about, that I found interesting. So as far as I know, they weren't talked about in the Bywater updates, at least. So the first one, there's a system preference you can set that allows you to keep lists when the patron is deleted, and it like slides them over to a patron that you set, which is something that it's an old bug. You can see 11,000 that's been wanted for a while. We've always had problems with list ownership here. The second one is also related to that. You're able to transfer ownership of a public list now. So like if the staff member that was in charge of that list is moving on and you want to move it over to a generic account or to a new staff member, there's a button for that now, which is really handy.
Yes.
And the third one is more language filters in the search. The one that's interesting to us is there's a multiple language filter now. So if the patron is looking for something that's in Spanish but also translated to English, if that book's cataloged correctly, we can use that filter to search those specifically, which is really handy.
I can't remember. Let me see here. I'll see if I can dig it up. But I had run across a situation. I had to write to Bywater about it, and see if I can find it. I did a search in the catalog where I couldn't. I didn't find something, and the catalog was doing one of those "did you mean" kind of things, it was looking at something and was giving me back a different spelling. I said, what is going on with this? And they shot back, oh yeah, it's a different language. It's like, why are you offering something in a different language, and it has something to do with a mechanism that they're using that's actually from a database in a different language. So it's like it was a really rare result that you would get, and I cannot find it. I don't have it in my emails. I may have deleted it, but it was just a really odd response to see. It was like, I thought something was broken. I'll bring it next time if I can recall what it was, but it was just kind of funny. Oh, I did want to mention, we had talked several meetings back about we have a Slack channel for koha-US, mostly for members and officers, and we're not getting a lot of use out of it, and I wanted to repurpose it, and we're thinking of repurposing it towards the Koha community. And there is a Koha community Slack channel out there that no one seems to own, but somebody has ownership of, and so we can't grab it. But George Williams has created a new one that we are working on. So he is on vacation right now. When he gets back, he and I are going to take a look at that more and iron out all the things that we need to with that, but we may be moving forward in that and opening up Koha community Slack channel so that everybody feels like they can be a part of things, whether they're in the US or not. If they're part of Bywater or not, they can be a part of it and don't have to belong to any specific group in order to take advantage of it. We wanted to do that. We have other methods of chat available in the community, but I've found that Slack has been really easy and nice to use. The one thing that I like about it is it's easy to look back at your conversations, which the other stuff hasn't been as friendly to me. I haven't liked it as much, but I think it's a little bit more user friendly, and so just wanted to give that option. I know that the Koha community, some people have griped about it being not being open source, but it's just been a good tool that's been available. And it's like, are you gonna completely throw away a product because it's not open source? I hope not. And I don't think that things have to be all open source or nothing. So so it's an option, and if people in the Koha community don't want to use it, that's their choice. So that's something that we're working towards. And thank you, George, if you're watching the video, thank you for working on that, and we'll hope to get that out soon.
We had a bug that affected us, and it's not really a major thing, but it's just something to be aware of. It's been around for a bit, but if you edit a circulation rule for a library that is charging fines, and the overdue fines cap was blank, whenever you edit that rule, it's going to autofill with 0. And so I put the link to that bug in the chat, but it's going to prevent fines from being accrued if you don't clear out the 0.
Ew.
I like that. It's like intentionally forcing them to go fine free on accident.
We've only got one library that's holding out on us, and so it took a while to find it. And I was kind of thankful for it when it first happened.
That is bizarre. And is that editing an existing rule or creating a new rule?
As far as I know, it's only when you're editing an existing rule, and it only happens if the overdue fines cap is blanked out. So if you put in an overdue fines limit, then you shouldn't have that problem.
Okay. Well, good to know, man.
I think I do have that problem. Thanks for bringing that up.
I put a screenshot in of another issue that is pretty minor, and it's also intermittent, and we can't nail down why it's happening. And at first I figured it was only us, but I think, Jason, you said you had kind of come across it. And then Lucas told me he had another library. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but every once in a while we get these weird characters showing up, and they seem to be, it's the font awesome icons, I think, and they're just translating somehow into some other weird, thing. And so I've tried to force it and come up with them, and I haven't been able to. But I'll be going along, and all of a sudden the home icon in the staff interface is this weird, like, capital C with these other weird marks in it. And I've seen it there, and I've seen it with the pagination in the staff interface. And then I have actually encountered it in the OPAC with the star ratings icons. And none of my staff have come to me and said, what is this? I kind of have a feeling it has to do with I have all kinds of windows up with Koha, and I've got system preferences up, and I'm looking at that, and I'm doing inspect element, and I'm moving between things, and I get a sense that somehow it's maybe connected to that because nobody else has come to me, and it just seems like staff would have noticed.
Is it happening in a particular browser for you?
I am using Chrome, and I think back when I originally reported it, I did try it in Firefox, and I think I had it in that too, but I can't absolutely verify that. And like I say, when I try to make it happen, I can't make it happen. It just, all of a sudden, it's like, well, there are those weird characters again.
I hate it when
So-
those things happen.
And
Yeah, I was.
sometimes when you reload the screen, it will clear it out. And sometimes it just absolutely refuses to clear it out. It just won't go away.
I
So
think it does have to, it's like a caching issue when you're playing with your CSS, as far as I've noticed.
Yeah.
Because I was playing with the CSS on the saved reports page, which takes forever for me to load because I'm doing bad things on there. And sometimes I was getting it more consistently there. And then if you do like a hard refresh with Control F5, it goes away. So I think it's like some sort of caching issue with the CSS. Not being able to load the icons correctly, but yeah, I can't consistently replicate it.
I hate it when I remember things, but I only partially remember things. I feel like I ran into something else, not with the icons, but I ran into something else a while back with Koha, where we would get random issues and it wasn't consistent, and we had a hard time replicating that as well. And it could be, I think it could be a caching issue, because there were times I would run into the problem on, I think it was like a Firefox, but it wasn't happening in Chrome. If I did the Control F5, it would clear the problem, but then it would come back when you refresh the page, normal refresh. So yeah, I think they have some caching issues. I wish I remembered things better. That's the problem when you start getting into your 50s, and it's like, oh, my brain isn't working the way it used to.
Well, it's a little bit like the issue with the synthetics cover images in the OPAC. Sometimes they seem to be loading pretty quickly, and other times I'll wait like 30 seconds before one actually shows up. This is in the detail, on the detail page. So it's kind of like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just intermittent and different.
Yeah, this is one of those cases when you end up screaming at your computer, there is absolutely no reason for this to be happening.
Yep. Oh my
I
gosh.
can't replicate it, but I can't empathize.
I was trying to work on the conference schedule yesterday, and man, this isn't a Koha thing, but I was working in the spreadsheet in Google Docs and working on the website, and for no reason whatsoever, both just closed on me. It's like, sometimes these computers are stupid. All right. Anything else?
Speaking of the conference, on the main koha-US webpage, under koha-US 2023 conference, get up-to-date information at. You link that, or could someone link that to the actual site
Let's see here.
or make it clickable? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, you have to type that in. It's a new web design convention to improve your
Oh,
typing
okay.
skills.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Let me see if I can share my screen without cutting off everybody. The finer points of Zoom are really annoying.
Only got 2 minutes left, Fred.
Okay. Okay. See where it says get up-to-date information at.
Oh, okay. So the actual event. Okay, I can fix
Yeah.
that.
I mean, there's a way around it.
I'm surprised
As
that
there
isn't
usually
linked.
is.
Okay. Yes, I will fix that. I will make note of this. All right. One more minute. Who has something to throw in there last minute?
Okay, I'll add something silly. My computer suddenly started rebooting for no particular reason. Turns out the plug at the wall was loose enough that the slightest touch would cut off the power, but it wasn't far out of the socket enough for me to really see it.
Don't you love that? All right, well, if there is nothing else, we will go ahead and call it a month. Thank you everyone for joining us. And if you are on the koha-US conference committee, please stick around. We will be starting in just a few minutes. We'll give everybody a chance to take a quick break and we will start at 9:35. So see everyone else later.